This is why you should actually read the Mistborn trilogy. So this video is for all of you that have Mistborn on your TBR, or you're too afraid to start it, or you don't want to pick it up. I'm going to tell you exactly why you should read it. First off, if you want amazing world building and one of the best magic systems you will ever be able to comprehend or visualize in your head whilst reading a book, this series is for you. But secondly, the first book is quite possibly the best book for getting into fantasy, because the issue a lot of fantasy readers have, especially newer fantasy readers, is when a book takes ages to get into. For example, where you have to world build, develop the characters, understand the plot, develop the magic system, all stuff like that is completely justified, but sometimes it really puts newer fantasy readers off. This book doesn't do that. It's one of those books that by chapter 4, you know what the plot's going to be, you know what the cast are, you understand the magic system, you're learning as you grow, you've been told about the world. Everything you need to know starts within the first 4 chapters. This means that there aren't loads of POVs that are from across the world and eventually meet up right at the end. There are POVs that are different in this, understandably, and there are still twists, there's still turns, there's still all that kind of stuff, but it's done in a way that makes it really, really easy to read and follow. But with this being a trilogy, there is always the risk of the second and third books not being as good. However, the second and third books, The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages, are amazing, if not better than the first book. The Well of Ascension, the second book, takes everything you know from Mistborn or The Final Empire, which is the first book, and completely changes the direction you're going in. Everything is a lot more slower, it's a lot more controlled, and if you are into the political tension, the political slow burn, stuff like that, this book is definitely going to be your favorite. It was personally my favorite. But the Sanderson, which is basically the giant dopamine hits that happen for the last 100 or so pages, are still massive and prevalent in this book. And The Hero of Ages, the final book in this trilogy, takes everything that was good about Mistborn and everything that was good about The Well of Ascension, molds them together, and chucks in dopamine hits throughout the whole book where you're going to love what happens. The action scenes are absolutely stellar. And the ending is something you'll hear people quote whenever they talk about Mistborn, just trust me. So just to recap, we have a great magic system, great world building, writing and prose that allow you to picture the magic system and the world and the characters and the plot in your head like no other fantasy series. And it's fairly self-contained because you don't have to read the rest of the Cosmere after you've read this trilogy. I know that's the thing that puts a lot of people off starting out with Brandon Sanderson, because they're like, oh, well, if I read the Mistborn trilogy, I have to read the whole Cosmere. You don't. You should, because it's even better and it makes everything in this so much more better. But you don't. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of everyone who's going to comment on this video without spoilers about how much they loved Mistborn, about what they liked about it, actually what they didn't like about it, because when you start a new series, you don't want to hear people glazing it, you know what I mean? And if you have started Mistborn, or if you are going to start Mistborn, please do let me know where you are, how you're getting on, because I'm so excited to see you guys start.